Good evening and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha with News Tonight, where we get you all the big news stories of the day from across India and the world. In its fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, India is gradually opening up. In a big step, the government announced on Wednesday that domestic flight operations in the country will resume from the 25th of May, that's Monday, in a calibrated manner. Domestic flights will resume operations from 25th of May in a calibrated manner, the Civil Aviation Minister announced on Thursday. Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri said all routes across the country have been divided into 7 sections depending on the duration of flights.
As I said, the domestic civil aviation operations will be permitted with effect from 25th May to a limited extent of the required and approved capacity of the summer schedule 2020, as I'm going to list out. For operations from metro to metro cities, 1/3 capacity of the approved summer schedule 2020. For operations from metro to non-metro cities and vice versa, where the weekly departures are greater than 100, 1/3 of the capacity of the approved summer schedule 2020.
Initially, 1/3 flight operations will resume and the number of flights will be increased gradually. He also said that fares will be regulated, giving, for instance, for a Delhi-Mumbai flight, the minimum fare will be 3,500 rupees and the maximum fare that can be charged will be 10,000 rupees.
Airlines have a system of RBDs, which we also called buckets. So this fare band is split into different buckets and then the airlines allot seats in different buckets. 40% मतलब जितनी भी सीटें हैं उसका 40% अगर हम अपर बैंड और लोअर बैंड का मिड पॉइंट लें, उदाहरण के लिए 3,500 और 10,000, इसका मिड पॉइंट बनता है लगभग 6,700. तो हम बोल रहे हैं कि 40% जितनी भी सीटें हैं उनको 6,700 से कम में बेचनी है. Now this is how we are ensuring that the fares don't go out of control also. At the same time, we are ensuring that the fares are reasonable for the airlines also.
The Ministry of Civil Aviation has also announced strict guidelines for air travel. Only passengers with confirmed web check-in to be allowed. Only one check-in baggage is to be allowed. Passengers should report at least 2 hours before the departed time. They will be required to wear protective gear, face masks and also carry sanitizers with them. Airlines shall not provide meals on board, but water bottles will be made available. Passenger status on Arogya Setu will be obtained before check-in. The cabin crew will also be in full protective gear. The minister also clarified that the middle seats will not be kept vacant, but other social distancing measures will be taken to ensure no transmission.
Gained some experience through Vande Bharat, now we are increasing that. Now we are starting domestic civil aviation, initially 1/3. और जो हमारा वहाँ पे अनुभव होगा, based on our, we might need to tweak procedures, then we will go into international.
The Civil Aviation Minister also said the success of the Vande Bharat mission has provided the confidence to restart operation amid the COVID-19 pandemic. In an effort to return to normalcy, the railways are preparing to run passenger trains soon. In a Twitter message, Railway Minister Piyush Goyal announced that 200 trains will start operations with strict precautionary measures. Online booking for these trains was opened today at 10 a.m. after Railways released a list of 200 trains. From tomorrow, train ticket bookings will resume at 1.7 lakh common service centres across the country and also at reservation counters of different stations over the next 2 to 3 days, announced the Railway Minister. More trains will be added in the coming days. Meanwhile, the Sports Authority of India has released standard operating procedures for resuming sporting activities. The SOP includes assigning a COVID-19 task force at SAI venue to give assistance to all trainees and athletes. The centre has exempted pregnant women employees from attending office. Union Minister Jitendra Singh said similar exemptions will be given to Divyang persons. Interstate bus services have hit the roads in Andhra Pradesh starting today. Initially, over 1,600 buses will operate on over 400 routes across the state. Passengers have to book tickets online. The Chandigarh Transport Undertaking has also resumed bus services in the Union Territory. Not more than 15 people are allowed to board the bus at a time to ensure social distancing. India recorded the second biggest single-day spike in the number of COVID-19 cases in the country. The number of COVID-19 patients crossed 1.1 lakh with 5,609 new cases being detected in the last 24 hours. Novel coronavirus claimed 132 lives in the last 24 hours, taking the death toll to 3,435. The number of active cases has gone up to 63,624. According to the Health Ministry, 45,299 people have been cured, taking the recovery rate to 40.32%. There's been a 1,004 increase in the quantum of tests per day in the last 2 months. The ICMR has so far tested over 26 lakh samples, including 1 lakh samples tested on Wednesday. According to the medical research body, for every positive COVID-19 test, more than 20 negative tests have been done. India is among 11 countries that has over 1 lakh cases but fewer deaths. As per the Health Ministry, only about 6.39% of the active coronavirus cases in the country need hospital support. India continues to report maximum caseload from Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Delhi and Rajasthan. These 5 states account for over 70% of positive cases in the country. In Maharashtra, cases inched towards 40,000 as the state recorded over 2,000 cases for the 4th straight day. 1,390 coronavirus patients have succumbed in the state. In Tamil Nadu, coronavirus cases breached the grim milestone of 13,000. Capital Chennai has 8,000 cases, the highest number of cases so far. Of the 743 new infections reported on Wednesday, 83 are people who travelled back to 13 districts from Maharashtra. The toll rose to 87 after 3 more people died yesterday. The state reported the highest number of cases after Maharashtra. 397 new coronavirus cases were reported in Gujarat, bringing the total reported cases to 12,537. Among the total people infected, 5,219 have recovered and 749 have passed away. 571 people tested positive for novel coronavirus in the national capital on Wednesday. Delhi currently has 11,659 cases, while 194 people have died. 131 new cases and 3 deaths were reported in Rajasthan. The total number of cases in the state now stands at 6,146 and 150 deaths. India is also reporting a growth in COVID-19 numbers from states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Odisha. Other states like Himachal Pradesh, Assam and Manipur are witnessing new cases after weeks of being coronavirus free due to migrants now returning to their homes. The government on Thursday said 20,000 Indians stranded abroad have been brought back to India so far through special repatriation flights under the Vande Bharat mission. Addressing the media, Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri said that in week 2 of the mission, the centre is planning to ramp up flights to bring back more stranded Indians. He said that besides Air India, private carriers too are joining in the effort.
Under Vande Bharat mission, as we speak, the numbers of our citizens who were stranded and or in distress outside, those coming back is increasing. The latest figure that I have is that we have brought back more than 20,000 of our citizens from various destinations.
Meanwhile, 3 flights arrived in Kerala and 1 in Delhi on Thursday evening. carrying over 700 expatriates from the Gulf region. An Air India special flight from Sydney carrying 224 Indian nationals arrived in New Delhi at 6:35 p.m. Apart from this, Air India flights carrying Indians also arrived from Sydney to Delhi, Kuala Lumpur to Delhi, and Jakarta to Mumbai in the evening. One flight each from Kuwait to Hyderabad and Singapore to Hyderabad will bring home around 300 passengers later tonight. Meanwhile, under the Navy's Phase 3 of Operation Samudra Setu, Indian citizens will embark INS Jalashwa at Colombo on the 1st of June. About 600 to 700 people are expected to be brought back to India on the ship. In order to resume economic activity in the country, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs on Wednesday approved a new auction process to award coal and lignite blocks on revenue sharing basis. Earlier, the blocks were awarded on a fixed payment per ton basis that was impeding production.
Under the new methodology for coal mine auctions, there will be reduced upfront payment. The upper ceiling for the upfront amount has been fixed at 500 crore rupees for mines with reserves above 200 million ton and 100 crore rupees for up to 200 million ton reserves. One may bid for a percentage share of revenue payable to the government. The floor price will be 4% of the revenue share. Bids would be accepted in multiples of 0.5% of the revenue share till the percentage of revenue shares is up to 10%, and thereafter the bids would be accepted in multiples of 0.25% of the revenue share. The CCEA also incentivized early production by granting rebates in revenue share payments. So there will be a 50% rebate to the mine owner in the revenue share they pay to the state in case of early production. The decision puts an end to the monopoly of state-run Coal India, and the new methodology is oriented to make maximum coal available in the market at the earliest and enable adequate competition, which will allow discovery of market prices for the blocks and faster development of coal blocks. Higher investment is expected to create direct and indirect employment in coal-bearing areas and have an impact on economic development of these regions. Despite having the world's fourth largest coal reserves, India imports around 235 million tons of coal. And after the change of methodology, nearly 50 coal blocks, including a few large mines, are expected to be put out for auction under Phase 1.
As countries across the globe join hands to find a vaccine for COVID-19, all eyes are on India, the powerhouse of vaccine manufacturing. Speaking exclusively to Rajya Sabha TV, K. Srinath Reddy, President of the Public Health Foundation of India, said, "Our country will play a major role in COVID-19 vaccine production as it is one of the largest manufacturer of generic drugs and vaccines in the world." Listening.
In an exclusive conversation with Rajya Sabha Television, K. Srinath Reddy, President of the Public Health Foundation of India, has said that over the years, a number of Indian companies have helped produce and distribute vaccines to the world. Reddy, who is also a member of the executive group of the International Steering Committee of WHO's COVID-19 Solidarity Trial, said that global partnerships will be crucial in bringing forth a safe and effective vaccine that is available to all.
India has the production capacity to really produce vaccines for the world. And that is where I believe, whether it's an Indian vaccine or an international vaccine, the world will turn to India for its huge production capacity at low cost.
As India begins to ease lockdown restrictions, Professor Reddy said that it's incumbent upon the citizens to maintain self-imposed discipline such as physical distancing.
Started increasing our testing rates so that we can get better recognition of the infected cases and isolate them. And we have also built up our health systems to greater capacity and mobilized our social response as well to cope with some of the issues related to displacement of people. I think it's time for us now to get back out of the lockdown into a return, not to complete normalcy as before, but with substantial precautions to prevent the spread of the infection so that we continue to keep the rate of deaths as low as possible.
Professor Reddy also said that stopping the spread from urban to rural areas will be the key to winning the battle against COVID-19. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
India has rejected the Nepal government's act of claiming some of the Indian territories as its own. MEA spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said the release of a new map by Nepal, wrongfully claiming possession of some of India's land as its own, is not based on historical facts and evidences. The Nepal government released the map on Wednesday. It showed Lipulek, Kalapani and Limpiyadura as its own. The External Affairs Ministry spokesperson said the actions of Nepal were contrary to the bilateral understanding to resolve the outstanding boundary issues through diplomatic dialogue. Anurag Srivastava said, and I quote, "Such artificial enlargement of territorial claims will not be accepted by India. Nepal is well aware of India's consistent position on this matter, and we urge the government of Nepal to refrain from such unjustified cartographic assertion and respect India's sovereignty and territorial integrity." The MEA spokesperson also expressed the desire that the Nepalese leadership will create a positive atmosphere for diplomatic dialogue to resolve the outstanding boundary issues. The Nepalese government's initiative was surprising since in the immediate aftermath of COVID-19 outbreak, Nepal was the first country to receive assistance from India. It was recognized by Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli on Twitter, but instead of taking advantage of the positive atmosphere of cooperation created due to India's helpful initiative, Nepal's Prime Minister even accused people going from India to Nepal as being responsible for spreading the COVID-19 virus there. As countries worldwide emerge from the lockdown, they are adapting new ways of social distancing and safety measures to avoid further spread of novel coronavirus.
Restaurants in France have come up with concepts of plastic pods to offer a safe dining experience when they resume service. An oversized lampshade made of transparent plastic has been designed that would encase customers while they eat and ensure no contact with others. France has also started to relax some of the restrictions since last week. Shops, hairdressers have opened and some children are back at school. Reopening of restaurants and bars is expected in June. Denmark also eased its lockdown regulations further, allowing cultural activities such as museums, theatres, movie theatres, zoos to open. Border restrictions will also be eased from Monday, while higher school students will be allowed to return to school on May 27th. On Thursday, Spain marked the first day of mandatory use of masks in public places. Germany began opening public swimming pools under a strict hygiene protocol, while Switzerland is set to allow religious services to resume from May 28th. In Singapore, a newly developed smart robot is being deployed to disinfect malls with lights instead of chemicals. The technology uses ultraviolet lamps to sterilize not only surfaces but hard-to-reach crevices and even air. Some businesses, including shops, hairdressers and laundry services, were allowed to resume service from May 13th. On Thursday, Australia organised a free drive-in musical concert for the public. Singer Casey Donovan performed live at a drive-in theatre in Sydney while attendees enjoyed the performance from their cars. To ensure physical distancing, audience members were not allowed to leave their cars, but the show was live-streamed to them instead. Japan has also ended its state of emergency in Osaka, Kyoto and Hyogo following a drop in the number of cases there. However, Tokyo will remain under restrictions for now. More than 5.1 million COVID-19 cases have been reported worldwide, while over 3.3 lakh deaths have been registered so far.
The severe cyclonic storm Amphan has caused extensive damage in coastal districts of West Bengal and Odisha. At least 72 lives were lost in West Bengal. Odisha comparatively witnessed lesser damage than Bengal. Here's a detailed report on the trail of destruction left by Amphan.
6 hours of Cyclone Amphan's wrecking winds left a trail of destruction in West Bengal and Odisha. The 4 coastal districts of Odisha, Bhadrak, Balasore, Kendrapada and Jagatsinghpur suffered the maximum damage. Several trees were uprooted, roofs of kacha houses were blown away, and power lines suffered damage in these 4 districts as maximum wind speed crossed 100 km per hour in some places. Standing paddy crops were also extensively damaged in these areas. Rescue operations and repair works have been undertaken on a war footing. The Odisha government asked the collectors of the 4 districts to submit a report within 48 hours regarding the damage.
राज्यों से कि और क्या ज़रूरतें हैं, तो शॉर्ट में ये बता दूं कि उड़ीसा में नुकसान उतना भारी नहीं है, उतना नहीं हुआ है और उनको ये उम्मीद है कि 24 से 48 घंटे में उनके सभी इम्पैक्ट वाले डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में लाइफ नॉर्मल में आ जाएगा. लाइफ विल बी बैक टू नॉर्मल.
Amphan slammed into West Bengal around 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday, uprooting trees, damaging power lines and destroying many buildings in Kolkata and other parts of the state. The super cyclonic storm has caused havoc in North and South 24 Parganas, Howrah, Hooghly, Nadia, East and West Midnapur districts as well. West Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar termed the devastation as furious. State Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee called the impact worse than the coronavirus pandemic. The Chief Minister also announced a compensation of 2.5 lakh rupees to the families of those who died due to the cyclone.
पश्चिम बंगाल सरकार ने ये बताया है कि 5 लाख के आसपास का फिगर है और 5 लाख जो इवैक्यूएटेड हैं, जो कि शेल्टर्स में रह रहे हैं, उन्हें अभी भी शेल्टर में ही रहने के लिए हिदायत दी गई है, क्योंकि रास्तों में या तार गिरे हुए हैं या फिर उनके घर क्षतिग्रस्त हैं, तो घर जाना सेफ नहीं होगा, इसलिए अभी शेल्टर में ही बने रहने की हिदायत दी गई है. आज जैसा माननीय प्रधानमंत्री महोदय और माननीय गृह मंत्री महोदय ने कहा है कि पूरा भारत पश्चिम बंगाल के साथ है जहां ज़्यादा क्षति हुई है, और साथ ही साथ भारत सरकार पूरी तरह पश्चिम बंगाल के साथ है. उसी के एक हिस्सा होने के नाते एनडीआरएफ जो कि ग्राउंड पर पिछले सप्ताह से है, वो लगातार वहाँ ग्राउंड पर बना रहेगा और अभी भी हम लोग डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के साथ कोऑर्डिनेशन में हैं और जहाँ वो कहते हैं कि यहाँ काम करना है और यहाँ क्लियरेंस करना है और यहाँ मदद करनी है, वो हम लोग करते रहेंगे.
The devastation caused by the super cyclonic storm was unprecedented in West Bengal. Most of the river embankments in different districts, including vast areas of the Sundarbans, were breached. Different agencies, including NDRF, SDRF, civic bodies, fire brigade, started relief and restoration work.
ये साइक्लोन इंडिया बांग्लादेश बॉर्डर क्रॉस किया और आज सुबह ये बांग्लादेश के ऊपर एक साइक्लोनिक स्टॉर्म जैसे स्थित था और फिर और नॉर्थ ईस्ट गति करते हुए आज दोपहर को ये बांग्लादेश के ऊपर अभी केंद्रीभूत है, मगर ये वीक होकर एक डीप डिप्रेशन में परिणत हो गया है. इसका मतलब ये है कि अभी कोई साइक्लोन का खतरा बांग्लादेश में भी नहीं है.
Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba has also reviewed the situation in Odisha and West Bengal in a meeting of the National Crisis Management Committee. Chief Secretaries of Odisha and West Bengal said the timely and accurate forecast by Indian Meteorological Department and advanced deployment of the National Disaster Response Force facilitated the evacuation of about 5 lakh people in West Bengal and about 2 lakh people in Odisha. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
President Ramnath Kovind expressed deep anguish over the loss of lives and property due to Cyclone Amphan in West Bengal and Odisha. In a Twitter message, he said the situation is doubly precarious as these states as well as the rest of the country are also battling the COVID-19 pandemic. The President said authorities and relief teams are making all possible efforts to provide a helping hand to the needy. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also expressed anguish at the loss of lives due to Cyclone Amphan. He also appreciated the administrative machinery of West Bengal and Odisha for ensuring timely evacuation of people. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has assured that no stone will be left unturned in helping Cyclone Amphan affected people. The Prime Minister said on Twitter that NDRF teams are working in the affected areas and top officials are closely monitoring the situation and working in close coordination with both state governments. Home Minister Amit Shah on Thursday spoke to Chief Ministers of Odisha and West Bengal, Naveen Patnaik and Mamata Banerjee, and assured them of all central help to deal with the situation arising due to the cyclone. The Home Minister also said he was closely monitoring the situation in both the cyclone-hit states. He added that the Narendra Modi government is committed towards the safety and security of every citizen. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you for your time. Take care of yourselves, your families, and do take all the necessary precautions as being advised by the government.